Uncut, unscripted, and on the fly. So, Sonic SatAM on CBS's Action Zone block in 1995? It sounds potentially like it could have worked. But would have it? That is what I'm going to talk about right here and now, uncut, unscripted, and on the fly. So, Sonic SatAM. We all know that, unfortunately, 25 years ago, this month and between the next couple of months, March, April, and May, we know that Sonic SatAM was removed from ABC's Saturday morning lineup. At the same time, CBS lost two of its potentially good animated shows in Wildcats and Skeleton Warriors. Wildcats, of course, was based on the Wildstorm comic by Jim Lee of the same name. But with all that happening, one has to think and wonder, could have Sonic SatAM been saved if it would have gone over to CBS and potentially been part of the CBS Action Zone? I think it could have. I really do. I mean, when you think about the animation block it was part of later on USA Network, the Extreme Action Team or the Extreme Action Block, I think it would have made sense. Because both blocks have the word action and both have an emphasis, I should say, on action shows, action animated shows being the focus. And Sonic for USA Network was part of that. So I think, honestly, Sonic could have thrived, if not survived, for at least one more season on CBS and as part of CBS's Action Zone. I really do. And the reason I say that is because when I look at the opening for the CBS Action Zone when it goes into a show, it always does that CGI thing where it says, entering the Action Zone, scanning for whatever show it was going to broadcast or was coming on. Imagine if that would have been the case for Sonic. Imagine the third season premiering and you hear it's going to be on CBS, it's going to be part of the Action Zone. You tune in at, let's say, 9 o'clock or 8:30 and it says, entering the Action Zone, scanning for Sonic the Hedgehog, locked, access now. Imagine how thrilled and elated fans then and now, being fans then, like I was, and still now, would have been knowing that Sonic SatAM was still going to be around. That it basically was still going to be on Saturday mornings, and they were still going to be able to watch new episodes, potentially the third season. I think it would have helped it, even if it was just for one more season. For that elusive third season, I think it would have worked. I mean, yes, I'm happy and I am supportive of Team Season doing what they're doing to get that third season up and going now, especially when, as I said before, they should be striking when the handle is hot, with the Sonic movie being number one for 2 weeks in a row. I think they should strike now when the handle is hot to try to get Sega invested as well as potential streaming services invested for the series. I think honestly now is the right time for them to strike. But as much as I am proud that they're doing this, I think them watching would agree that if Dick Entertainment and Sega back then would have shopped Sonic SatAM around to other networks and potentially landed it on CBS, I think the Action Zone, the CBS Action Zone, would have been the perfect landing spot for it. Because again, not only would you be giving it a home for its potential third season, but you'd be giving it a home for the other two seasons prior to that for fans that were maybe catching up to it right then and there to enjoy. And again, imagine what people's reaction would have been seeing that CGI opening saying, entering the Action Zone, scanning for Sonic the Hedgehog, locked, access now. That would have been like, whoo! I can only imagine what that would have been like. I mean, just the reaction. I mean, imagine the internet and social media being around at that time. All the Sonic fans the Sonic fans that have grown up and are still around today would have basically been on Twitter and Facebook talking about the fact that Sonic SatAM is now on the Action Zone. It's now on CBS, which is kind of ironic, seeing as though Sonic SatAM is part of the CBS All Access Kids block or kids programming on its streaming service, which is the CBS All Access streaming service along with other programming. But what I'm getting at, guys, is I truly believe, in my opinion, that the CBS Action Zone could have been the perfect destination for Sonic SatAM to continue, especially with that third season that Ben Hurst wanted to do. I think, and I firmly believe, if Dick Entertainment and Sega would have shopped around and not given up so easily, that third season would have ended up on CBS's Action Zone. I really do. I think that Action Zone would have been the perfect landing spot for it. Because again, when you look at what CBS's Action Zone block lost, I mean, it was centered around, for 90 minutes, centered around action shows like TMNT, the original cartoon TMNT with a darker tone known as the Red Sky Seasons, as well as the Skeleton Warriors and Jim Lee's Wildcats, which was based, like I said, on the Wildstorm comic of the same name. They lost two of those, those being Wildcats and Skeleton Warriors, leaving only Ninja Turtles, thus leaving the Action Zone basically obsolete. That's all it was. I mean, the only thing that was retained from it being any resemblance of its old self was when it would begin before some of the Ninja Turtles, whether it was the reruns of the classic Ninja Turtles or the new Red Sky ones. That was the only reason it was around. It was now an hour-long Action Zone TMNT block. But imagine think about the potential a show like Sonic could have been, or could have had, the impact it could have had on that block. I mean, you probably could have had one of the highest rated blocks on Saturday morning between 8:30 and 9:30 with Sonic and TMNT. Now, I know people are thinking, well, word or the stories being circulated is that Fox would have moved, Fox Kids that is, moved Power Rangers, to the same time slots to compete with Sonic. Who's to say they wouldn't have done the same thing? Because I don't think they would have. I think the only reason they did that is because both shows debuted at the same time in the U.S. And because both shows debuted at the same time in the U.S. and both had a lot of hype behind them, Fox wanted to make sure that their show was going to be the more dominant one. So that's why they kept doing what they did. And in addition, Fox made sure to broadcast Power Rangers on the weekdays as well, which helped them out, in the long run. So, which helped them out, like I said, in the long run to be a success. But anyway, I don't think that would have happened, though. I don't think if Sonic SatAM, Dick Entertainment and Sega would have shopped Sonic SatAM around, maybe potentially landed it, if not most definitely landed it on CBS and made it part of the CBS Action Zone, I don't think we would have had that same problem. Because they would be going up against the Ninja Turtles, and the Ninja Turtles was still pretty big. Despite, the popularity from a live action standpoint dwindling, they were still very big. They were still very popular. So I don't think, Fox would have chanced it. So I honestly believe that Sonic SatAM, even for that one last season that fans wanted to see become official, that Ben Hurst, God rest his soul, wanted to see become official, I think, honestly, it would have happened. I think it really would have happened if Dick Entertainment and Sega would have shopped the show around to other networks and more potentially, if not probably and definitely, landed it on CBS in the CBS Action Zone. Because again, when you look at the block it ended up on later on USA Network called the Extreme Action Hour, or the Extreme Action Team, Yeah, it played alongside the likes of Mighty Mortal Kombat, the Mortal Kombat cartoon, and the Street Fighter cartoon, which were based also on video games, but were more based on action as well. So, makes you think. And I think Wildcats eventually ended up on the Extreme Action Hour as well. I really do. I think they did for a bit. I think during the last season of USA Network having any kind of cartoon morning block, I think they did. And I think they were alongside the likes of Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic SatAM. So it makes you wonder. And I think even TMNT was part of that. The TMNT that was running on CBS at that same time. So it makes you wonder, it makes you ponder, why didn't Dig Entertainment or Sega do this? You could have gotten, even if it was for one, even if it was a deal, even if the deal was to run Sonic SatAM for one season and give us that potential last season, it still would have been something. I think it would have become a huge success. I think it would have really given CBS an injection in its Saturday morning lineup that it need, or would have needed at that time. And think about it. You have TMNT fans growing up at that time like me that would have stayed to watch Sonic SatAM, or would have tuned in to watch Sonic SatAM and then stayed to watch TMNT. I mean, it would have been a win-win situation, guys. I think, when you really think about it, it would have been a win-win situation. So, I honestly believe, in my opinion, that honestly, Sonic SatAM could have potentially survived. I truly believe that third season officially could have been done, created, and released if Sonic SatAM was would have had its last season or its third season on the CBS Action Zone. If Dig Entertainment and Sega would have shopped it around and more than likely have it land on CBS and part of the CBS Action Zone after Wildcats and Skeleton Warriors were removed, I think honestly it would have survived and potentially opened the door for maybe a fourth season. But we'll never know. It's a question of what ifs. But I believe, honestly, I truly believe that I just get this feeling that we were potentially close to seeing that happen. I honestly believe, in closing, guys, I honestly believe we were on the verge of seeing that happen. I don't know what potentially fell through that didn't make it happen, but I think we're potentially that close. I think we're potentially that close to hearing that robotic voice saying, "Entering the action zone, scanning for Sonic the Hedgehog, locked, access now." I think we were very close. I can't truly say, but something inside of me as a fan, growing up then and being a fan now, I think, honestly, we were close to something like that. I really do. But what do you guys think? Do you think Sonic SatAM would have thrived and survived at least for one more season as part of CBS's Action Zone? What do you guys really think? Or do you think they should have just left it as is? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. And I'll talk to y'all later.